long-time analyst for the Slippery Rock Pride, and we've got a hockey night here in Harmerville. Quinn, we had a great first game with Robert Morris coming out of the going and
the Slippery Rock University
Pride against the John Carroll Blue Streaks. And you've seen both of these teams play over the year. Give me your thoughts on John Carroll.
John Carroll, they're a fast hockey team, and they're a team that can score a lot of points and quickly. When they played the Mountaineers most recently, they put up 7 in their last matchup against Slippery Rock just last week. They won 9-7. If we have any game like that, get ready because we're going to have a very, very loaded stat sheet.
McMahon
had 5 goals. He had a 10-goal game. And one of the questions for the it really hasn't had he's going to have a against his high-powered Slippery Rock attack.
Yeah, he hasn't had the best season, but he's capable of turning it on at the right times, and if he can tonight and he can shut the door, then watch out.
Number 8, Anthony
Bobby Couture is going to be the goaltender.
And number 17, Brian Russell.
John Carroll, so a little bit of a switch.
Starting at left back. Number 11,
talk about the top of the scores in all the ACHA.
Number 3, James Burkle.
Just impressive stats.
Starting at center, number 25, Andrew
40 goal plateau. Those two kids have put on quite a show this season.
Yeah, I mean, to score that many goals in so few games is just unheard of. I mean, that's averaging well over most of their goals a game, and if they can continue to keep up that production, then they're going to be a hard team to stop throughout these playoffs.
Number 11, John Sievers.
Yeah, and then getting the start away, Kevin Belanger, game 9-7, he gave up 9 goals, so this is going to be a redeemer. It's not Deacon in the net. You have to know that it's in the back of the netminder's mind that the guy that you're replacing let up 7, so you got to hope that you can do better than that.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we're going
to have a little bit of fun with headsets and microphones, and we're going
our home and native land, true patriot love in all of us command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true North strong and free. From far and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Et de tromper, protéger nos foyers et nos bois. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. And please remain standing as we honor the United States of America with the Star-Spangled Banner. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, all the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave? the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Back at the booth here, Quinn and Ron Steedle. And Ron, we've seen a lot of hockey with Slippery Rock this season, and Quinn and I were talking on the outset. If the Morrow, Kimmick, Esposito line gets it going here tonight, it's going to be a tough task for Blue Streak.
And they put up 181 points incredibly in the 35-game schedule that Slippery Rock's played. And there's in a line combined in the next three closest teams that even put up those type of numbers. They've averaged 4.71 goals a game over that span, 162 goals scored, and gave up 121 goals this year. So Slippery Rock has won more than their share of close games. Also is capable of blowing some teams out of the building too. They've done both this year.
Yeah, we have an overflow crowd here at Slippery Rock, so we're not used to these early start games. We're used to Miller time. And away we go! Here from Harborville. Back into the John Carroll zone. And Portella's going to get it there from the Blue Streak. He's going to move it along. Up for it is Grable, but Grable can't find the puck. And it's thrown away by Morrow. It didn't come in. A shot to the net, and it just went wide. Portella up with it. Takes the shot. He's this time. Taken there by John Carroll, and they switch third into the Slippery Rock zone. Matt Nikolowski's back here for it. And Antonio Esposito. Morrow gets the puck in his own end. And here he comes. He comes out his goaltender and up over center ice. Morrow in over the line. Knocks it off for Esposito on the shot. And a good save by Rossi. Play into the neutral zone. Here comes John Carroll. It's a quick-looking game so far. There's Gilbert down behind the net. Kruger's going to move it in front. Taken there by Kimmick. Kimmick moves it up. Tries to get it to Gilland. And we're going to have a wave of the ice. It's nothing to do. Oh, and Gilland had a good chance. Down behind the net. Here's Miller with it. Gets it over to Ackerman. Ackerman into Miller. And it's going there by Klitzman. And Klitzman clears it up off the board. Rossbach off the board. And here's Evan Kruger. Get over the line. 29 points in 12 games. Kruger takes a shot that just went wide. Up there with it is Riley. Riley in his own zone, and he brings it up out of the zone. Taken there by Mills. And Riley gets it, and he throws it into the zone, and Slippery Rock's after it. Portillo back for him. Around the board. And out of the zone. And back for it is Dick Reitman. And he's going to play on. Play there down behind the net. Up with it is Gilland. It's taken there by Sean Pack. Out of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Going there, in front. A little bit of miscommunication there by Slippery Rock. Down behind the net in front. And a good play by Sean Pat. And Kevin Belanger is going to hold on here. It looks like a quick start to this game.
Yeah, not really much of a feeling out process, which makes sense. These teams saw each other not that long ago, and they got right into the swing of things early on. It looks like we're going to be in for a very fast-paced game.
Grossman steps in here. This number 19, Mike Ellis. Ellis wins the draw back to Klitzman. Klitzman moves it down, belong. Taken by Pat and cleared out of the zone up the leg of the ice. And we're going to have an icing. Rossi Curry, the goaltender of record for John Carroll tonight. Surprise starter.
Oh, for sure. I think everyone, maybe even and their brother, thought Deacon was going to get the nod tonight. And in warm-ups, I saw Curry there getting a few more looks in warm-ups, and in the end, he did wind up getting the nod for starter.
Here's Nate Bettenberg up over center ice. He gives it to Kevin Collette. Taken by Lightwood. Lightwood takes a shot to the net. Rebound. Oh, the quick save off the goaltender. Taken there by Ellis as he gets the puck. Ellis steps to the lane of the goaltender. He's taken by Slippery Rock. Bettenberg's going to get it cleared into the John Carroll zone. Back goes Mike Gillespie out of Sarah Catholic. Whooper off the boards and out of the zone. Up there is Kimmick. Kimmick clears the puck, and Russell's going to get it. Taken there by Kiddick, but into the opponent's goal. Morris. Taken there by Russell. Russell clears it off the boards around the Patel. Patel off of it. He takes it out of his own and back to center ice. There's Seaver and Michalowski. Exchange the puck. And it goes into the John Carroll zone, but Russell's going to get it. Woodward off with it. Into the Slippery Rock zone, and here's Johnny Seaver with it. Down around the boards, and here's Michalowski. Morrow going to get it. He gets the puck, he flips it up into the atmosphere. Gets the ball, gets the play, but Kiddick gets it. Here's Kiddick get over the line. Kiddick down the front. Michalowski's going to keep the puck alive. Woodward off the boards, but Michalowski gets a nice play to cut it down. Down behind the net, it's Slippery Rock here, look for a line change here. Russell is able to get it. Russell up with it, over to the first goal. Slippery Rock with a couple of quick line changes here. Whipper hits the puck and gives it over to the first goal. Russell up with it, around the boards for Whipper. Whipper off the boards. Slippery Rock looks to come up. The blue straight to down the zone. Whipper has the fucking gun. Whipper off the boards. Can't keep it in their body. And Graves is going to make the block. It's gathered there by Somerville Hands. 15:33 remaining here in the first period for the Alpha Ice Complex. We have the John Carroll Blue Streak and the Slippery Rock side. There's Delaney front. There's Ackerman shot. All the way wide. Puck down in front. Big hit by Shane Riley, and the puck goes back into the Slippery Rock zone where Michael McCann get it. Up to Mettenberg. Over to Riley. Here's Riley. In over the line. Works it off the wall. No, takes the shot. Nicely there by Carlo Bucodi out of Central Catholic. Here's Wilson up the board. Wilson makes the play, and Ulysses going to get it. And Here's Mettenberg. Mettenberg. Two-man back. In over the line. Good defensive play by this one. Up into this summer. He gets the puck. And here comes number 21. Another third loss ball. One of the lead scores on John Carroll. Up into these Mills. Mills has a... Oh, he's up there on a big hit by Kevin Gillette. He got rolls to the ice. Up through into the Slippery Rock zone. Up into this Sean Pat off the board. And Mills returns the favor. Here comes Gillette. One has the puck. On a good defensive play there by Gilbert. And for this Sean Pat here, 14:02 remaining in the first. Quick lead first period. Off the board, but it's intercepted by Weldon. He just dumps it away into the Slippery Rock zone. Up into this Mancini. Mancini has the puck. He's going to try to get the puck out of the zone, and he does. He Gilbert's going to leave it back there face to face. Up into this Russell, or Gilbert. Gilbert's going to dump it away into the Slippery Rock zone. Backward is Nick Reichman. He moves it over to Pat. Back to the point. There's a shot is blocked down. Costello's going to get it over to Russell. And the play into the Slippery Rock zone. There's Reichman up with it. Reichman over the line. Intercepted by Russell. Russell just pulls it up off the board, and it's going to be out of play. A lot of neutral zone time there, Quinn.
Yeah, a lot of back and forth play, but not a lot of shots on goal. It's still 2-0 in shots on goal in favor of Slippery Rock. And I mean, we've been playing now for almost 7 minutes, and John Carroll has yet to record a single shot on frame. And if you're the coach, you got to be stressing, just get one on net. You know, let's break the ice here. Let's just, you know, settle into this game.
Vito wins the draw. Taken over by Kiddick. Taken by John Carroll zone. Up into this Russell. Russell puts up shot behind his own net. He has the puck. He looks over the situation. And he moves it along over to Portero. Intercepted by Morrow. Morrow just gets it and dumps it into the zone. Taken there by John Carroll. Here they come. Up the line. That's number 25. Andrew Trailing. This is Portero. Portero gets the puck up the Rossbach and in the zone. Up to this Russell. Russell's going to get it. He's going to make Slippery Rock play the 215. Here's Kimmick. All these past the ball. They're going to race it play. Oh, they're going to wave it off. Morrow, receiver. Off the ball. On there, here's Siebert. Shot it down. Oh, he's just went wrong. Here's Riley up there. Riley. Going to move it along and put it out there. Look at it. Here's Kruger. Kruger walks down the slot. And we're going to have a penalty call here. On Slippery Rock is Evan Kruger. Looked like he was going to be in all along, Ron. And Kruger brings a different element to this game with his speed.
Well, I think part of that was a poor line change. We get a thing with Jamie Morrow for that. He came out of his own zone, and he wasn't too fast getting to the bench, and I had to try to get somebody on real fast. So there was confusion right in front of the bench, which resulted in a hooking play. Siebert had to pull him down from behind, or at least get the stick in him when he could get off that quick shot, because he came across the blue line with a head of steam. And we don't want him to get the first shot on goal and wind up in the back of the net.
Slippery Rock penalty assessed to number 11, John Siebert, 2 minutes for hooking. Time of the penalty, 8 minutes and 4 seconds. Siebert, 2 for hooking, at 8:04.
Brings the puck out of his zone. Gilbert up over center right. Blue skating defenseman. Dumps the puck away, and Riley's going to be back for it. Gets the puck around the boards and out of the zone. 11:32 remaining here in the first period. Puck into the Slippery Rock zone. Riley up with it. He can't get it off. Kept it there nicely by John Carroll. Around the Wells. Wells has the puck. He's taking the spear, but it's gone out. Good play by Gilbert. He can with it. He gets it. He's going to throw it on the way to the ice. He has to get this line change. Up with the puck is Russell. 1:03 remaining in the penalty. 10:56 here in the first period. Here's Russell up with it. And over the line. Russell. Moves it down behind the net. Taken there by Michalowski. He just picks it up. And he's going to find it and try to get it over to Mancini. Mancini up with it. He just clears it the length of the ice. Good work by Slippery Rock. Ari's going to leave it there for his defenseman. He's going to carry it up over center ice to Russell. Russell. Moves the puck back to the point, and it's Rothbach. Rothbach has it. He sets up shot over to Russell. Big wide pass. It's stolen by Slippery Rock and cleared by Anthony Mancini. Good penalty kill here by Slippery Rock, but John Carroll not pressing the issue too much.
John Carroll doesn't have a shot yet on this power play.
Puck is over to Kuzma. Kuzma over the line. Kuzma takes a shot. Hits the side of the net. With it is Michalowski. He's going to try to get the puck. He gets it wide and we're back to full strength. Michalowski throws the puck in the zone. Gilbert's going to get it there and leave it for Taylor. Taylor up over center right. Over to Grant and in the zone it goes. Michalowski up there. On the board to Ackerman. Ackerman. Taken stolen by Grable. Grable might have a chance. And a good defensive play there by Michalowski as he knocked him off the puck. Grable still has the puck, but it's stolen away by Ackerman, and here he comes. Ackerman up over center. Gets the puck up into the zone. Here's Deland. Deland has a shot. Oh, and a good save by Lozzie as he hit glove on that one, Ron.
An opportunity to see Cottrell play February 1st right here at Alpha against Pitt, where John Carroll was down 3-0, made a great comeback with 3 power play goals, and they gave up a goal with 9:56 left in that game. But I was pretty impressed because he didn't play the first time when they played Slippery Rock back on October 26th. The game Slippery Rock won 5-3. But I was very impressed with him in that Pitt game and thought there'd be a chance they'd play him tonight.
There's Rowley back in the line. Into Morrow. Morrow around the board. Civic trying to find the puck. Civic up with it. Back to the place in the chance. Shot to the net. Hunter in front. Oh, a good save. There's Kuzma. He picked it up off the boards and out of the zone right now. Good back up here by Tony Arcegino. Up there to the Slippery Rock zone. And Michael McCann has it. McCann up with it. Big wide pass up to Morrow. He can't find the hand. Up with it is Mills. Mills over the line, but he's not there. And puck cleared out of his zone, and Russell's going to pick it up. Russell takes a shot to the net, and Kevin Belanger is going to hang on, and that's only the second shot recorded for John Carroll.
Yeah, so right now for John Carroll, you have that shot that just came in from central ice, and the other one is the dribbler that led to the hooking penalty. Those are the only two shots recorded, and if you're a netminder, you're not concerned about either one of those. If you're the netminder, those pretty much are just stat patterns.
Big shot to the right of Kevin Belanger. On pad up with it, behind the net it goes, and right was in good shape. Going there by John Carroll, and they push it around the net. Pat's going to get up off the board for Mettenberg. Mettenberg went over the line. He pushes it over to Sweat. Sweat with the backhand, and puts it high. Right up with it. Really rough, looks like he has some left leg here. There's right to keep it. Good defensive play to keep the puck in. Another nice play. That's one pass. That puck looked like it was never going to come out.
Yeah, Slippery Rock was able to hold it in the zone there, but with all that zone time, they didn't generate a single shot. We're still at 4 total shots, and we've been watching this hockey game for 12 minutes. Both of these teams did a great job. I was watching during warm-ups. They almost never missed the goal, and now that the game's actually started, they can't seem to put it on frame. You have to wonder if it's nerves.
There's Rothblock up with it, over the line. I think the shot just went wide. Roasted trying to find the handle on it. It's around to Michalowski. Michalowski up with it. Throws it off the boards and out of the zone. In the zone it goes. Johnny Keeper with the chase. Rothblock's after him. Up with it is Sweat. Sweat off the boards, up to Mettenberg. Good pass. Mettenberg just dumps it away into the zone. Fontola with it. Fontola goes the puck out of his zone. Went over center ice, he comes. A big, strong defenseman. There's a shot on the goal! John McMahon with the goal. He found the loose puck in the slot, and then it went. And all of a sudden, the Blue Streaks are on the board.
And, I kept talking about the lack of shots, but the thing is, with the firepower of both of these teams, they don't need a lot of shots to pot one home, and John Carroll proved that right there. Third shot and a goal just like that. Both of these goalies might be in for a rough night if they care to look at their save percentage after the game.
Well, it might be a little stretch to say we'd have another 9-7 game, but let's face it, these two teams, their offense, they're capable of it.
Carroll went over the line, took the shot. And just like that, the Pies on the board.
Well, we just talked about it. A 9-7 game might be inbound part 2. We just had 2 goals in like 3 seconds.
And you know what that one is? That's goal number 40. Goal number 40. Yeah, 5 seconds of 40. Morrow made the play. He got it to the net, and Barry couldn't find the rebound. And Timmick was there, and he pounced on it, and we're all tied at 1.
Timmick from Morrow and Esposito. 7-15.
Here's McCann up with it. He can't find the handle. Here's Mills. Mills takes a shot and it went wide. Morrow gets the puck out of the zone, and Russell's going to get it. Russell.
John Carroll, his 18th of the season, scored by number 13, Carl McMahon. Assisted by number 8, Anthony Pontello. Time of the goal, 12:40. McMahon's 18th from Pontello at 12:40.
Puck cleared up the length of the ice.
Slippery Rock goal, his 40th of the season, scored by number 16, Thomas Timmick. Assisted by number 18, Jamie Morrow, and number 64, Antonio Esposito.
Right now, you'd think this was a Slippery Rock home game from all the noise this crowd is making.
Well, these people are still midnight game. They told them it was 9:20 and they thought it was like 4:30. Carson Chris, the Alaskan Assassins. We say hello to all our friends in Anchorage. Listening in tonight. Mills up with it. Mills off the boards and in the zone. Here's Riley up with it. Carson Chris is going to get it. Chris up with it. He's met there by Mills, and Mills gets the puck, and he gets it into the zone. Back with it is Shane Riley. 6:21 remaining here in the first period in the Alpha Ice Complex. Riley up over center. He gets it in. Haynes will chip it down behind the net, and Carson Chris goes to work. Appleton Leaves there for Chris. He takes a shot in net. Sorry, had to be sharp on that one. Here's Reitman up with it. Reitman just pulls it in his zone and it pucks up the Woodbury. In the zone it comes. Back to the point. Tony takes a shot. And Belanger fought that one off. Down behind the net. Here's Riley up with it. He puts it into the slot, and that's a dangerous area. And Chris is going to get it. He's just going to clear it out of the zone. Up is Frelick. Frelick up to Grable. He's met there by Christian Miller. Riley up with it. Riley gets the puck. He moves it up the center to Gillian. Here is number 12, Goodwin. Goodwin moves it around to Gilbert. That's a good one. Off the boards. Up with it is Grable. Grable just chases off and doesn't get a line change. Frelick just chase against Dick Reitman. It's taken there by Matt Michalowski. Michalowski clears it up to the center. And Liskey's going to break up the play there. Here comes John Carroll. He's going to be offsides on the wing.
Ron, we've watched a lot of Slippery Rock hockey this year, and Dave Grimm has played his 4 lines, and he's played them almost to perfection. I don't think that plays out in this.
Well, even more so. Well, you know, you got to do what you've done all regular season. I mean, he had plenty of confidence in 4 lines, and even if they had the influx of players after the Christmas break, he still played those guys. And they gave them always a chance in the 3rd period if they were down a goal or if they had fresh guys to protect the lead.
Receiver up on the center. Shot wide of the net. Michalowski's going to get it. Michalowski's one of those players that's going to team late for Cleveland here. Cleveland just keeps the puck down behind the net. And the slot is stolen by Rothbard. He just got to Kruger. Here comes Kruger. Full head of steam. And over the line. He falls down. And it's going to be another penalty. And I'm not sure about that one, Chris.
Yeah, that was a pretty weak call. Ref was pretty far behind the play, and he just didn't have a good vantage point from his angle. It looked like he had been tripped up from ours, and we had a bit of a better vantage point than the referee did. I don't think that was a trip at all.
Well, then you're going to get breaks and you're going to get calls, and that's what happens in playoff hockey. So it's going to be interesting to see how, number 1, Slippery Rock responds to that, but number 2, how if the John Carroll Blue Streak can take advantage of that.
It's going to be on tripping at 15:33, but actually I think the call should have been on Michalowski. He was pretty far away. I can see why they would plead the case to keep Nettenberg on the bench.
Slippery Rock penalty assessed to number 26, Nate Nettenberg, 2 minutes for tripping. Time of the penalty is 15:33. Nettenberg 2 for tripping at 15 minutes 33 seconds.
Over to blocked down by Slippery Rock. It's cleared the right to the ice. Good work there by Luke Gershon and Kevin Correct.
This John Carroll power play recorded 0 shots on their last power play attempt. They've got to look to get pucks to the net early and often here on this try.
Ross walk up with it. He's up over center. He moves it over to Kruger. Kruger has that puck. He tries to go around Riley. Nothing doing there. And McCann gets the puck. McCann's going to get it and square at the length of the ice here. With a minute 16 remaining in the penalty. 3:41 remaining here in the first period. 1-1 hockey game. Slippery Rock and John Carroll. So this is Rossbach. Rossbach went over the line. Walked off there nicely by Mancini. Taken by Kruger and left to Russell. Russell up with this goal, leaves it for Gilbert. 53 in the penalty. Gilbert carries it up over center right. He's right there. He'll stop on a dime. Russell with it. Russell has the puck up to Gilbert. Down to Mills. Mills has it. Over to Russell. Russell has it. Over to Rossbach. Over to Russell. Over to Gilbert. Gilbert making a play. Over to Kruger. Into Wells. Steps to the side. Over to Russell. Russell to the wheel. Shot to the net and it went wide. Here's Russell up with it. We're down to a few seconds of the penalty. Taken there by Kruger. Kruger walks. He takes the shot. He whistled it wide. Wells is going to put it down behind the net. And it's cleared up off the boards. It's kept in there nicely by Gilbert. Gilbert takes a shot. It's blocked by Mettenberg. Over to Russell. Shot to the net. Oh, hit the post. Gilbert with it. Takes a shot. Down behind the net. All drawing Carroll right now. There's Wells up with it. Wells down behind the net. Leave it there for Whooper. Whooper with it. Gets the puck. To the point to Russell. He shoots it down. Shane Rowley dumped off one of the blue streaks. And they're trying for another penalty. A little bit of vocal action from the bench down here. Here's Wells with it. Still has it. Shot to the net. Alonze makes the save. Anxious moment there for Slippery Rock Queen, but they were able to survive that simply.
Well, that was a whole lot of work from John Carroll for one shot.
And one off the post.
Yeah, one off the post. That doesn't count as a shot on goal. Post still the goalie's best friend in this case. And a lot of opportunity, but a lot of shots whistled wide. One off the post, and finally to close it out, one on frame. But you got to hope for a rebound there. But completely swallowed up, no rebound happening.
Comes around the board. Fralick going to get it there for John Carroll. Taken there by Esposito, but Cooper gets it. Moves to the front of the net, back to Kuzma. Kuzma gets the shot, and it's blocked there by Sean Pat. After that puck is Portillo. Portillo's going to leave it for Kuzma. Kuzma gets it. Off the board. Down there by Pat. And Kimmick tries to make a play, but sit off. Portillo up with it. After it is Whooper. Off the board, Morrow makes a good play. After it is Portillo, and he's going to get it in the zone.
1 minute, remaining in the period. 1 minute.
Takes one off there. Here's Esposito off with it. Leaves it for Sean Pat. Pat with a long lead pass. Off tomorrow, and Kuzma's going to beat him there. Kuzma has it. Over to Portillo, and we're down to 43 in the period. After it is Esposito, and we're going to go in an offside play. You could see that when Esposito, Morrow, and Kimmick are out here, they're nervous.
I want to make sure they have the key matchup. Devastate most teams this year. They piled up a lot of points. No chance he has the right matchup, so it could be costly.
John Carroll's on, up off the board. He's going to wheel it into the Slippery Rock though. And I think we're going to have an icy call here with 27 seconds to go in the period.
I think right now, John Carroll offensively, they're playing for the perfect shot. And instead of playing for that perfect opportunity, you got to just start playing for any opportunity. This game, if you just look at the stat line, you would think it was a boring first. It's been far from it, but it just doesn't look like that on the stat sheet.
Well, the Rossbach, here we come. Over center ice, he couldn't get a clean handle on it. Shot to the net, and Lange fought that one off. Up with it is Gillan. Down to 15 in the period. Gillan up over center ice. Full-headed Steve. Gillan over the line. Gillan walks to the net. It's close. Oh, that's what it almost got his stick on that one. Top of the net again. And we're down to 3, 2, 1. And we're going to come to the end of the first period here. With the score, Slippery Rock 1 and John Carroll 1.
Just go to the John Carroll Blue Streaks 1. Slippery Rock 5. First period shots on goal. John Carroll 6. Slippery Rock 5.
And we're going to have a recap. John Carroll here. And
Had 2 goals in that period, and they came quickly at 7:20. First goal was by John Carroll, the 13th of the year, coincidentally for number 13, John McMahon, on a nice long lead pass from Anthony Pontello. But Slippery Rock didn't waste much time getting on the scoreboard. 5 seconds exactly as Esposito won the draw, pushed it ahead to Morrow, who came down on a 2-on-1, fired the puck quickly, hard low pad side, and there was the Congressman, Tom Kimmick, with his 40th goal of the year to tie that game at 7:15. 2 penalties in the period, both by Slippery Rock. The first one at the 8:04 mark yielded no shots on goal by John Carroll on the power play. It was a hook. John Siebert made a 15:33. Nate Mettenberg with a tripping call, and they dodged the bullet, even though they spent another 40 seconds in the zone. And John Carroll is playing with very little fear here and very little to lose. They're definitely giving Slippery Rock all they can handle in this period. They were maintaining speed and also great outlet passes. They're quick up ice with the puck. So Slippery Rock can't gamble as much as they usually do.
Well, I thought the defensive play of Slippery Rock was to keep them to the outside line. They did a pretty good job of that in the first period, which we saw in the pit game last week.
Well, John Carroll, so they played. You get a chance when you play a team late in the season, then you play them right away in the playoffs. You have the best scouting report you can have right there. Obviously, there isn't like there's been a lot of changes or personnel changes once you get to this point where there's only 2 weeks between the last regular season game you played and the playoff game. So you have an idea of what kind of matchups they're looking for, anything you can affect by having that change, and face-off alignments, what teams are trying to do against each other, breakouts, you name it.
Well, I thought Roger Carey played a nice period for the first period. May have been a little nervous, but he didn't show any nerves.
Well, I've watched him play other games this year. I mean, a diminutive goaltender, obviously the small goaltender by stature in the league, but, big things come in small packages because once you get on the roster of all these teams, the third leading scorer in the league is also 5'4". They have him listed at charitably. Bo Rossbach has 56 points, which still is a few yards behind Jamie Morrow and Tom Kimmick. But you look at all these other teams' stats for the year. Rossbach has a pretty good lead on the fourth place guy in favor of goals and assists. So he's a danger, and you can see how quickly he gets up ice, how fast he releases the puck.
One of the interesting things I'm going to see in this game is, we touched on it earlier about Dave Grimm and playing the four lines, but I think John Carroll is going to have to extend their bench a little bit. They're going to have to play that second, third, and fourth line because Slippery Rock's going to force them into that situation.
Slippery Rock's just a little bit bigger and stronger, but not necessarily faster. I mean, John Carroll, a 5-3 loss and a 9-7 victory. And once again, as is RMU, they finished a little further down in the standings with a losing record, but they were highly competitive in games. They were able to split against the best clubs. So you can't overlook any of these teams at all. And this is a one game. You just don't play your best game and you don't get the breaks, you could be out quickly.
Yeah, I think one of the things that I'm looking at, you look at Pitt, and Pitt was a pillar there, and everybody thought Pitt would be one of the favorites coming into this thing, and now all of a sudden their season's over.
Well, it's John Carroll that beat Pitt last year.
Yeah. So the game thus far has been pretty fast-paced. Do you think these two teams can keep up this pace?
Well, it's predicated on being able to use the bench and that those players that are in the game early. And that's the one thing Dave Grimm's really good at. I mean, he doesn't wait to see what the score is before he starts utilizing those 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th forwards. He gets into the game, they get their feet wet right off the bat. They get the blood flowing and they understand what they need to do. I mean, there's a pretty good delineation between job descriptions here. Even when guys are out of the lineup for a healthy scratch or temporarily, because he has the ability to plug in some other forwards, they play the same way, in line 3 and 4. I mean, he's kept those guys pretty much the same. But a lot of these teams haven't even kept their first line together, let alone being able to produce what Slippery Rock does. But as you saw last week against Pitt, after 3 losses in a row, which they've given up 19 goals in that 3-goal span, Slippery Rock was able to make some adjustments more defensively, and that game was a tennis match, and it was, even down to the end with the goalie pull for Pitt, it was still up for grabs, but Slippery Rock made a major adjustment in being able to play more of a defensive game. Because in the regular season they've scored 58 goals in 14 games, but they've also given up 51. And some of those numbers goals against sometimes keep you just on the outside. But they gamble. We've watched them all year. Their game is predicated on getting pucks deep, and they're fairly creative offensively.
Well, I think the other thing that you have to keep in mind is Sugar Rock has some secondary scoring. Some guys that have come up with some big goals during the season. Nate Benberg, one person I was thinking of. Gillian is yet to be heard from. In my mind, I think he's a wild card. I think Ackerman has done a nice job as well. So they have some secondary scoring guys, but it looks like John Carroll's scoring is Evan Kruger, Johnny McMahon, and Bill Rosbach. And then after that, they don't have much of any.
No, there's a huge fall off. And that's what Slippery Rock has to press their edge. And also, if they get some opportunities on the power play, to cash in, because their power play was over 20% all year and it remained consistent. There was a stretch about 3-4 weeks ago where a couple of games they weren't doing much on the power play. They were falling into that trap, trying to make the perfect play all the time instead of puck on pads, get picks and screens in front of the net, things that usually that's their bread and butter. We'll see if I don't believe any of these playoff games are going to be 15, 18, 20 penalties combined in these games, and you saw it in the Pitt RMU game. There was 6 penalties combined in that game. That's more what you're looking at. So special teams will come into play here, but generally it's because of some sloppy play, and you're either long shifts, you can't get off the ice, or in the case of what happened, unfortunately there with Jamie Morrow, he's a little late coming off. He had to trek all the way from the exit gate to his bench, and Siebert had to take a hooking penalty to haul somebody down while they were trying to get the 5th guy on and not have too many men on the ice penalty.
Well, I tell you what, Kruger has some speed. I mean, we've seen him play a little bit, but he has 29 points in 13 games. He's the real deal, that Evan Kruger. Out of university school in Cleveland, I had an opportunity to see him play before he ever came to John Carroll, and this is the kid that's the real deal.
Well, he said these are one-game playoffs. So this is a chance to get to play tomorrow and then hopefully on Sunday. So mistakes are going to be magnified. There's no question about it. Like you saw late in the period there, they had a nice screen set up. Belanger, he was back hugging the inside of the net. He was a little bit off the left post. That puck went through a couple of legs and bounced off that post. So that's a plus for Belanger there that was able to stay out. Where he can kiss the post to make sure that, because even though those 2 goals were scored 5 seconds apart, I don't think it's going out on a limb very much to say this is not going to be a 9-7 game.
Oh, there's no question. I think one of the things that could happen is, I mentioned about using the bench. If John Carroll doesn't use their bench, they're going to be in for a long night here.
It could eventually wear them out. Plus, you mentioned earlier, Slippery Rock does have that secondary scoring. Christian Miller, caught fire in the last couple of weeks of the season. He had struggled in the middle part of the season. He wasn't shooting the puck very much. Nothing was going in when he did. And the addition of Connor Ackerman and Trevor Gillian at the break, they're already integrated right into the lineup and getting a good bit of playing time. And they generate some offense. That really just boosted their stock, because no coach is going to be able to ignore the fact that Morrow, Kimmick, and Esposito have put up an enormous amount of points this year, including league games and the aggressive non-league schedule, which I was looking at some of the other teams' non-league schedules. Slippery Rock was 13-6 and 2 overtime losses and piled up 108 goals in those 21 games. So they were averaging well over 5 goals a game. And I looked at some of the competition between teams. Even a good team like IUP, it was only 3 and 15 in non-league games. It was 5-10-0. And did score. They gave up way more goals than they did. So, and some of them were common opponents. So Slippery Rock was still playing at that high repetition, and showed last week. And hopefully this will get them over the hump, is being able to pack it in and block shots, which you saw they did. The shots are wrong on the scoreboard. It was actually 7-6 in favor of Slippery Rock, but we had a little bit better advantage point.
Well, we have the teams returning to the ice here in about a minute and a half. And we see our friend Greg Miller down on the bench there. He the ball and helping the door. We have a full crew here tonight. Black Dog Hockey Network, we're going to welcome all of our viewers there. West Virginia D2 network as well. And we're going to have the face-off. We're going to have the face-off in just about a minute here. The score is Slippery Rock 1 and Carroll 1.
Welcome back to the Alpha Ice Complex. The Carroll University Blue Streets and the Slippery Rock University Pride.
Here at the start of the second period, and Slippery Rock going to go left to right, John Carroll right to left, and away we go. Back to Physicality. Morrow has it. He just puts it into the zone. He's going to take off for a line check. Going to do Portillo. Portillo up with it. Up over center ice, and he's going to get over the trailer. Morgan. Intercepted there by Russell. Russell's going to throw it into the Slippery Rock zone here. Up with it is Riley. Riley has it. Up with it is Ackerman. And Ackerman off the boards. And Kruger's going to haul that in. He's going to get it back to his defensive partner. Gilbert moves it up over center. And we're going to have an offside call.
Well, if you're Slippery Rock coming here into this third period, or into this second period, you want to keep doing what you did in the first. They blocked a lot of shots. They probably recorded more blocks than there were total shots in the period. It seemed like every time John Carroll had a good look, there was a Slippery Rock forward or a Slippery Rock defenseman right in the shooting lane and blocking off every shot John Carroll had on that could have gone on frame.
On the board, here's the can up there. Off the board for Ackerman. Ackerman's going to carry it up over the line. And over the line he goes, and Miller's going to get the puck. Down to Ackerman. Ackerman sidesteps the defenses. Pushing it front. Oh, and a good chance. Rebound. And that puck was laying there. Slippery Rock couldn't find the handle on it. They're laying up with it. A little bit of a sticky yard situation. There's the can up with it. He just throws it up the center and Gilbert's going to intercept. Gilbert has it. Hands and intercept that one. The teams keep exchanging the puck. Out of Quaker Valley High School. Up there with the puck is Ackerman. And then give it to Gillan. Brown and Portillo. Gillan has it. Gillan back to the point to Reitman. Reitman has the shot. Shot to the net. Rebound. Where is it? Trevor Gillan! And the Slippery Rock Pride all of a sudden is on the board. 2-1. A little bit of a broken play there, Quinn. But the good defensive good play by Dick Reitman to keep the puck in at the right point.
Yeah, kept it into the point, just threw a shot on net, got the deflection, and that deflection is what allowed the rebound to come out. It put the puck in at a different angle at the last second, and while it was able to be saved, it's a lot harder to control that rebound. It goes off the far pad, which means it's going to kick right out across the net mouth, which is exactly what it did, and it's cashed in on the back door.
2:34, it's going to be in from Reichman at 2:34 for a 2-1 lead. And the puck is up into the netting. Well, we talked about Gillian, and there you go. He's cast in, but he's made some nice plays in this game already.
Well, he made a smart play, too. He had no play. I thought he was going to go to the left point. He actually went across to Reichman at the right point. Reichman didn't get off much of a shot, but he caromed off, like Quinn said, right to Gillian, and he showed great patience. They just walked it right in and sat it in the net.
Face off to the right of Causey. Akari. Grossman in the draw.
Slippery rock goal, his fourth of the season, scored by number 24, Trevor Gillian. Assisted by number 12, Nick Reichman. Time of the goal, 2:24. Gillian scored from Reichman at 2:24.
Mettenberg. Mettenberg has that puck. He puts it down behind the net. It's gathered there by Russell. Russell will get it up. And they get it out of the zone. And here comes Wells and over the line. Wells. Shot, another shot block down. Another team. Right up there. It's by Wells. He's trying to net. And Wells is going to take one puck into the corner. Wells gets the puck down behind the net. Another block by Nate Mettenberg. Well, Mills has it. Now it's Wells. Wells back to Portillo. Portillo is top of the net. And Belange's just going to grab that one. Again, a lot of stuff from the outside.
Well, they're being forced to stay to the outside because every time they've gone to the middle, their shot's gotten blocked. So now they're just trying to get any shot on frame that they can, and they're just not high-quality chances.
Little Rock exercises their chance in the last line. Now it's up to the line after the point to Portillo. So puts the puck down behind the boards for Wilker. Down behind the net of Fraley. Fraley comes in. Up there by Michalowski. That's the deal. Up here going in. Down behind the net again. Off the boards and Severson again. Around the boards of Kimmick. Kimmick can't beat tomorrow. Here he comes. Right over the line. He goes up against Gilbert. Gilbert takes him to the boards. Brandon's going to get it, but it's stolen by Kimmick. Here's Kimmick with the puck. Morrow has it. Hit him on the key. He's built it score. Antonio Esposito. And what a beautiful pass by Jamie Morrow.
Not going to be denied on that play. There's no question he was not going to be denied. He was taken into the corner. Nice defensive play, but he fought him off. Worked it back around to the right side. And then found Esposito. It looked like he just banked it right off the pads, and Esposito's right there. And that line has done that all year. They were so good down low and in tight. That goal comes at 4:08, and Slippery Rock is up by a pair.
Here's Esposito in to take the face off against Russell. Morrow up there. It's taken by Clidsmore over to Russell. Stolen by Kimmick. Kimmick in over the line. Kimmick has that puck. You can feel it right now that Slippery Rock's lifted it.
Slippery Rock goal, his 13th of the season, scored by number 64, Antonio Esposito. Assisted by number 18, Jamie Morrow, and number 16, Thomas Kimmick. Time of the goal, 4:08. Esposito's 14th. From Morrow and Kimmick, and 4:08.
Down behind his own net. 15-14 remaining here in the second period. Up it goes to Atkinson. The play into the zone, and Russell's going to get it. Up it is Riley. Man, and here he comes. He has a hot hand. McMahon got the net. And Belange's going to center himself to that shot. McMahon's got a hot hand, Quinn. late in the season here and in this playoff game.
Yeah, and I mean, when you have the hot hand, you got to feed him. You can almost set plays for him, draw things up to get him shots on frame. If he can keep it up, he could single-handedly carry this team back into this game.
Gillen on the second it's off on by Silver Rock around the boards it comes. Ackerman up there. After the point, McCullough going to wind up and take a shot. In front. And Wells trying to make the play. Here's Wells with it. Good defensive play there by Ackerman. McCullough can't keep it in. He's going to shoot it. Swap out. And out of the zone. It's going to be down the lake to the ice. And we'll think we're going to have an icing call here. Another block shot there, Quinn. Yeah, we're getting a lot of block shots by Cincinnati.
Yeah, it's quickly becoming the story of this game, and you can tell it's in the heads of the John Carroll players as they go to shoot it. They already know it's going to get blocked before they even pull the trigger, and it's making them hesitate just a second longer, and it's making them even easier to block.
Well, Slade's off there, but they play on. There's Physicality up with it. Trying to get it off the board for Miller. Miller's going to get it and chip it out of the zone. That's where it is Portillo. There's a ton of ice time here already. Ackerman's going to be a pest against him. And he knocks Gillen to the ice. The big Portillo is 6'4". Here's Kruger. Kruger up over center ice. He's met there by a host of players. Our old friend Connor Ackerman on.
Connor Ackerman's in the middle of everything that goes on. There's no ship that goes by that Connor Ackerman isn't getting a piece of someone, agitating someone. So he, sometimes he can get a little overboard, but he can generally be the heart and soul of his team. That mindset, it's like, you're not going to mess with us. We'll be able to counteract anything you do that sort of strays above the rules a little. Connor's right there.
And here's a big point in this game, Clint. It's a 3-1 game. Slippery Rock's on the power play. John Carroll's going to dig in and kill this one off.
Yeah, you got to kill this penalty off, and you have to wonder if this is a penalty that's even spawned off of frustration. You've been playing for 26 minutes. You have 8 shots on goal, and you probably have like 15, 16 shots that have been blocked off, and you're just aggravated and take out your frustration with a slash into one of the other players.
Off one by Slippery.
John Carroll, penalty assessed number 7, Evan Kruger. 2 minutes for interference. Time of the penalty, 5:56. Kruger, 2 for interference at 5:56.
Morrow down behind the net. He's going to move it back to the point. Over to Mettenberg. Into Morrow, but he can't find the handle. And the puck comes out of the zone. McCann up with it. 13:40 remaining here in the second period. Up with his Esposito in over the line. Esposito drags the puck, puts it down behind the board. McCann's going to give chase for Slippery Rock. Portillo going to get it, but Esposito right there to take it. Esposito leaves it to Mettenberg. Mettenberg over to Timmick. Timmick over to McCann. McCann over to Mettenberg. Mettenberg to McCann. Timmick over to McCann again. They're setting up shot behind the net. Here's Morrow with it. Morrow takes the puck. He's going to leave it for Esposito. Esposito has it. He puts it down behind the net over to Timmick. Timmick will get it up to Mettenberg, but it's stolen. And here comes Wells in over the line. Wells has the shot. Esposito for Delonte couldn't make the save on that.
This is going to come as a big surprise here. That shot got blocked.
Yes.
They were in there again. It was a one-on-one and still in the shooting lane, able to block off that shot. Even in one-on-one, Slippery Rock sitting in shooting lanes.
Shots are 10-8 in favor of Slippery Rock. 6 seconds remaining in the penalty. 12:50 remaining here in the second period. Slippery Rock on top 3-1. Second power play unit here with Slippery Rock. And Richard Miller out here for the Slippery Rock crowd. Takes off one by Slippery Rock, and Riley's going to wind it up in his own end. Here he comes. Up over center ice is Jordan. Seaver. Big wide pass. It's stolen there by McMahon. McMahon seems to be a key component to this game. He's been all over it. In perfect play. Riley up over center ice. And here he comes into the line, into the zone. Riley takes a shot. It just went wide. Miller's going to track it down, and here comes Rothbach. Crosswalk, get over the line. Tries to make a move, but nothing doing. Here's Riley up with it. He gives it to Miller. Miller tries to the defensive. He gets the pop. Taken there by Russell, but a better play by Miller. Miller gets the pop. He'll leave it down for Gillan. Gillan has it. Tries to move it to Miller. Good pass there. Shot to the net. Good chance for Slippery Rock. Here's Kruger up with it. He's wheeling up over center ice. Good pass. Here's Seaver up with it. Seaver makes a pay, but Travis gets it and throws it into the zone. Taken there by Shane Riley. It's off the board. Up with this Kuzma. It's back to full strength with 11:37 remaining here in the second period. Up with it is Russell. Russell's going to move it along and get it into the zone. Riley's back there. Around the board. Wet, going to get the puck. He's going to move it up to Grossman. Grossman to Bettenberg. Bettenberg in over the line. Puts the shot in the net. He's going to chase down his own shot. He's there for Grossman. Grossman. Back in front. Here's Pat. Pat shot to the net. There's Pat again. Another shot to the net. And that's glanced off the outside of the post. Here's Portello. 11 minutes to go here in the second. Good play by Grossman. He picks the puck in and he puts it down behind the net. Went to the good chase against Kuzma. Portello has it. And he goes down. Nothing falls. Went with the cross check and he's going to get fouled to that.
That'll come at 9:16. Colette, just after the play where you thought maybe Grossman was all done without a call, but it goes the other way against Slippery Rock. Well, they're going to have to kill. That'll be the third time they've been short in this game.
Well, you can't do that. I mean, ref sitting right there, saw it the entire time. Clearest line of sight you could have given him. That's probably the easiest call he'll make all tournament.
Takes off coming to the right or left of Kevin Belanger. Wells with Whooper and Mills here. Play up into the stands. We have a nice crowd on here Quinn, for this one.
Yeah, bigger crowd than the first game, and I would say we're probably looking at about 75-25, maybe 80-20 in favor of the Slippery Rock fans, and they've been making a lot of noise, and I think feeding into the energy of this team so far.
Face-off line, and Booker gets it. He puts it down behind the net.
Slippery Rock penalty assessed number 27, Kevin Peck. 2 minutes for cross-checking. Time of the penalty, 9:16. Peck 2 for cross-checking at 9 minutes and 16 seconds.
Gilbert has that puck, and he's going to wind it behind his netminder, Quarry, and up the row. Up over center ice is Russell. And over the line. Whooper. Here's over to Russell, down behind the net. Here's Wells. Wells to the point, over to Gilbert. Gilbert lines up, they take a shot. Whooper, a shot. And Belanger with the rebound. And usually, Slippery Rock doesn't like people going near their goaltender.
No, yeah, they were very quick to clear him out of there. And just from watching this game so far, I hope the John Carroll forwards aren't claustrophobic because Slippery Rock's defense has been all over them all game today.
Yeah, they're basically wearing them like a cheap suit. But this is a good sign for Slippery Rock. They're playing very disciplined hockey down low. I've watched them play all year. You know, sometimes they get out of character, but this is a perfect formula for frustrating a team.
Rosbach didn't take the face off against Grossman. And up off the boards and out of the zone it goes. And I think we're going to have another icing call here. Oh, no, we're on a power play. I'm sorry. As Russell gets the puck, and he's going to leave it there for McMahon. The first power play unit out here for John Carroll. They fly it over to Rosbach. Rosbach, get over the line. Rosbach has the puck down behind the net. Around the track, good down it. Good to the board. Here's good. The can up there. He gets it over to Jason Haynes. Haynes has had a little bit of ice time here tonight. Throws it into the zone and he gets off. Good work by Jason Haynes, the freshman out of Murray. Here's Portillo off with it. Portillo is going to come up with a full head of steam up over center ice. Portillo in over the line. Puts the puck down behind the net. And there's the McMahon. Gets it down to Portillo. He's thrown by... Oh, almost kept it there by Russell. Nice play by Russell. McMahon. He's going to give it up. Now he's going to get it. He's going to clear it the length of the ice. Ackerman gives save. Good hustle by Ackerman. Given there by McMahon and up the boards it comes. Taken there, and it's intercepted by the field, and the fans can get it, and he's going to throw it away from the ice. Slippery Rock did quick work to that penalty kill there, Quinn.
Yeah, I mean, you want to be able to say third time's the charm, but that's simply not the case for John Carroll tonight. 3 power plays, and they've done absolutely nothing with them. And now Slippery Rock, having scored 3 unanswered goals, you need to find an answer in a hurry.
Here's Wells. Oh, they take this one. The way I took the worst of that one. Where is it? When the puck comes around the board, Joe Ann looks to be shaken up on the play. There's a big collision at center ice. He's down and he's not looking too good.
Tomorrow's semifinals feature Robert Morris taking on IED at 2-7 right. This game on watching right now. The score on game 7 seeded 2-3 at 2-20. With the winners of the semifinals meeting on Sunday to determine the Carroll Hockey Millionaire Reception of 2019. All more here at the Alpha Ice Complex in our time to visit collegehockey.com to learn more.
And I think it was an inadvertent play. I don't think there was any harm or malice in that play. We hope Trevor Joanne he looks like he's going to get up under his own power.
Yeah, didn't appear to be any malice there. Just a really hard and clean body check. And I personally, when my mind instantly flashed to as I saw him kind of take flight upon the hit, it reminded me of the John Elway hit where he helicoptered through the air, and we need to hopefully he's okay.
Well, these are 2 200-pound guys skating at full speed. I mean, you could actually feel the concussion, the impact of that hit. They said, hey, I've been watching hockey and been involved in hockey for over 50 years. I mean, you don't see too many hits that are like that devastating where, this far away you could actually feel the impact of that hit. I don't know how, what that would feel like personally. I've never been hit that hard in any sport. But Trevor is up, and that's good news. He's up on his own power.
He's going to shake it off and play on. It's a tough Slippery Rock pride would do.
If you're John Carroll right now, that kind of a hit can build momentum, but you have that hit and then play is instantly stopped due to the injury. So does that help or hurt your momentum here in that situation?
Well, plus Trevor's season ended last year. I was actually at that game at UPMC Lemieux when he was playing for Penn's Elite U18, and his season ended in March last year with a violent collision which he broke his collarbone and I believe also separated his shoulder. So he has some history there with that injury.
Puck around the board and Anthony up with it. Esposito took the face off. A play into the John Carroll zone, and we're going to have another icy here. Pittsburgh with a shot with just one guy. Inside pass over to Ackerman. That's there by Kuzma. Kuzma's going to get the puck. Big strong defenseman Kuzma out of place of out. Pulled by Morrow. Over to Kimmich. Oh, and he couldn't find the handle on the puck. Down behind the net. Here's Morrow up with it. He's banged there by Kuzma. He's in front. Morrow with the puck. In the goal number 41. I don't know how that happened. Kimmich, he found Kimmich. And on the back door, that's goal number 41. All of a sudden, that's 4-1.
And it all spawned off an defensive zone turnover by John Carroll. Intercepted pass led to all of that. And it was just a great passing play. Somehow that puck got worked down low and roofed it right into the top of the cage to jump out to a 4-1 lead.
This is the magic we've been privileged to watch all year, with the tenacity of Jamie Morrow and the ability of Tom Kimmich at his size to hide in areas. And this is what we've watched all year, and that's why they have piled up such an incredible amount of points.
Slippery Rock goal, his 31st of the season and second of the game. Scored by number 16, Thomas Kimmich. Assisted by number 18.
Yeah, I mean, already up 4-1, and not just 4-1, but 4 unanswered goals as well. And if you're John Carroll at this point, you just want to survive the intermission and try to make adjustments.
And Physicality at 12-27.
Esposito down behind the net. Esposito going to try to find that puck. And Fralick's going to come out of there with it. Fralick just pumps it up over center. A good back check there by Superwalker. Gravel's going to get the puck. Gravel's on behind the net. Going back there. Here comes Morrow. In over the line. He's met there by Gilbert. Gilbert has it. Morrow swaps on a dime. He almost found Kimmick again. You can see that magic. Here's Morrow up with it. He has the puck. He seems to have a string on it. There's Grossman down behind the net to Morrow again. And he steals the puck. Taken there by Grossman. Grossman gets it, but Gilbert's going to get the puck and he's going to get it out of the zone, hopefully. For John Carroll. Grable up over center right. Stolen by Pat. Pat up over. Gets it to Gwen. He takes a shot that just goes by. Down behind the net. I think John Carroll looks a little dazed right here, Quinn.
Yeah, I don't think they were expecting this kind of a performance from Slippery Rock.
There's Mettenberg. Mettenberg up with it. After the point to McCann. McCann gets it. He just turns it to the net. And Gilbert's going to get the puck and he's going to get it. He's trying to get it out of the zone and he does. Up to Grable. Grable just dumps it away into the zone. And Woodward's in a good shape. Woodward has that puck. Up there by McCann. Good play by Rogers. He just picks it up out of the zone. The big four forward. Skyscraper. Williams back on the ice. Good news for the Slippery Rock Pride. Over to McCann. Up to Gouette. Right up with it. Here's Gillian. Gillian and over the line. Good defensive play there by Portillo. He's going to power back there. Riley up with it. He's chased down, but he can't find the handle. Play's going to go on to the net. Sorry's going to hold on, and Portillo's going to get the puck. Up with it is Kuzma. Kuzma has it. Stolen by Gillian. Gillian. Took the shot. He just shot it wide. Good chance for Gillian. Down behind the net is Ackerman. If he's met by Portillo, he slams into the board. Up with it is Sean Pat. 4:44 remaining here in the second period. There's Miller up with it. And over the line. Oh, a nice move. It was better defensive play by Berg Rossbach. Rossbach up with the puck. He's going to get it. Gillian's going to clean up his own end. Rossbach's going to get it. Up to Miller it comes. Here's Miller in over the line. It's a shot. Oh, and it just glanced off the shoulder of Pari. Here's Reichman with it. Reichman, right wide pass over to Pat. Pat's going to clear it into the zone, and Pari's going to hold on. Slippery Rock looks like they have another level right here.
Yeah, they're playing a fantastic brand of hockey. They're blocking almost every shot that comes in that would be on their goal. They're forcing multitudes of turnovers in their offensive end, and it's leading to great chances all over the ice.
And I don't think there's anyone more appreciative than Belanger after having to weather all 9 goals 2 weeks ago. And here he hasn't even barely seen that many shots in the whole game.
Kruger, 2-on-1 with Rossbach. Kruger in over the line. Kruger has it to Rossbach. Oh! Here's Russell with the puck in his own end. Gives it over to Gilbert. Gilbert. Over to Russell. With it. Big wide pass. Michalowski just there for Slippery Rock. But it is Esposito. Esposito puts it up the boards and Russell's going to get the play. Here's Seppadare. Cleared into the zone. Here's Russell up with it. Here's it up to Kruger. Over to Grable. Grable in over the line. Grable takes a shot and guess what? It's blocked. Esposito cleans up his own net. Down behind the net with Kruger. Kruger has the puck. Skate takes a shot. Good save there by Belanger. Good. Kimmick up with it. Kimmick and over the line. He's going to just dump it away into the zone. Good play by Tommy Kimmick. And we had a trip up on the play and there was nothing called. Interesting there, Quinn.
Yeah, the referees on the John Carroll bench were looking for a call.
There's Whooper up there. Inside pass, and Riley's going to get it. This is Riley up there. He's going to carry it out of there. The full end of steam. Steam for Archer Christian up to Riley. Riley in over the line. Riley tries to make a pass over to Atkinson, but can't make the play. There's Slippery Rock employs the fourth unit here. With 2 minutes and 30 seconds to go. Here's the man up in it. He's just behind his deck. He's going to leave it between Riley. Riley up there. 15 shots on goal for Slippery Rock. 4 goals. 2 of them by Tommy Kinnett. Well, stop in the net. Oh! And all of a sudden, there's 4 8 to go here in the second period. Don't go away so fast. John Carroll gets a marker.
Great patience by Wells. He passed up the first shot looking for something better, and there's no question he was able to make that play. It was good patience. You got to give him credit. He had a little bit more time and used it.
Now all of a sudden, when the tables have turned, next goal is a big one.
Yeah, I was saying that John Carroll just needs to try and survive this period. They didn't like my advice there. They said we're going to go out and score one, and then we're going to come out in the third and turn on the Jets. And they still got 2:08 left in this period. That's more than enough time to try and get one more.
John Carroll, his 13th of the season, scored by number 9, Carroll Mills. Assisted by number 22, Brady Wells. Time of the goal, 17:52. Mills is 13th from Wells at 17:52.
John Carroll's back to the top again. Up to the Mettenberg. Mettenberg get over the line. Mettenberg slides up to the defenseman. Mettenberg down behind the net in front. It's wet. Where's the puck? And they can't find it. Good play by Sean Pattis. He's in no man's land. Up to the Portillo. He gets there to Whooper. Whooper in over the line. Off the net. Belange's going to steer out to the corner. Up to the Rossball. Down behind the net. This one, here's Kimmett up there. Kimmett up off the boards and out of the zone. Up with it is man. And Russell gets it. He's in the zone. He's ready to chip it in.
1 minute, remaining in the player. 1 minute.
Around the board. And Kimmett. Kimmett leaves it there for Beaver. On these pass, and that's going to be an icing call. 50 seconds remaining here in the second period. 4-2 hockey game. 15-14 in the shots win. And all of a sudden, this game's a little different than it was.
Oh, it feels a whole lot different. And John Carroll's clicking right now. They're skating faster than they were 5 minutes ago. They're making crisper passes. They just seem to have more energy. I don't know what they put in that Gatorade over there on the sideline, but it's working.
Maybe Kool-Aid. There's Wells down behind him. Going there by Esposito. He's going to get it. And it's up to Esposito. Esposito off the boards with Kimmett. Kimmett's going to clear it into the zone here with 33 to go. Here's Gilbert up with it. Gilbert sidesteps his goaltender. He moves it out. Up to Whooper. He moves on it close. It's off of the net. And Belange is going to hold on here with 22 seconds to go in the second period.
Big goal by Brady Wells. I mean, it's going to give them hope for into the third period. That's what they're looking for. They had a heavy-headed monster this period, so now they have a chance to recover.
Civic up with it. There's it off the board. He gets his own puck. Over to Riley. Riley has the puck. Riley with it. Into Kimmett. Shot to the net. Sorry, had to be struck on that one because the cat was ready to strike.
Yeah, both of these teams have such high-powered offenses. It could be a 5-goal game at the end of period number 2, and we still couldn't call it over. So, with it being a 2-goal game right now, we got a long ways to go with 20 minutes still on the clock after this one expires.
Grossman in to take the face off of it. Back to the point to McCann. McCann gets it. He shoots it in the net. In front. And
Well, 14 shots by Slippery Rock.
Want to take the? I'm going to let you
Slippery Rock University 5-4. John Carroll University wins streaks 2.
They said 14 shots that period by Slippery Rock. It was in a two-period total of 21. And John Carroll logged 11 shots in a goal, the two-period total of 17. So we're usually disagreeing with the scorekeepers. So we have a two-period total 21-17 in favor of Slippery Rock, and they also piled up 3 goals that period in a span of slightly under 10 minutes. And we'll recap that. 1-1 at the end of 1 period, and at the 2:34 mark, Slippery Rock struck on Trevor Gillian's 4th goal of the year, assisted by Nick Reichman. It was a good give and go. Gillian spun out, couldn't find anybody, found Reichman at the right point, took a soft shot on net, carried off of Corey right to Gillian, and he just made a little S move and flipped it into the backside of the net for a 2-1 lead. Then Antonio Esposito at the 4:08 mark, his 14th goal of the year, assisted by Morrow and Kimmick. Very much tenacity in front of the net. Morrow finding Kimmick, who banked it off the goalie. Esposito right there for a goal. And at 12:27, they up the lead to 3 goals at 4-1. Tom Kimmick, his 2nd goal and 41st of the season to tie Jamie Morrow for 2 leading goals, also assisted by Morrow and Esposito. Well, Brady Wells at 17:52 got John Carroll back within hailing distance with a nice move. Faked the first shot because he didn't see anything too good to shoot at. Kind of worked more to the left and buried the shot behind Kevin Belanger. And at the end of 2 periods, we have 4-2 in favor of Slippery Rock moving into the 3rd period. 2 penalties that period, 1 by each team. And not much damage done on either. Neither team has a power play or a shorthanded goal after 2 periods.
And even with all the goals scored and all the offense that was produced there, the story of that period's got to be that hit. Easily the hardest hit I've seen in calling college hockey games.
Well, it was a devastating hit. Like I said, Trevor Gillian, it's almost a year to the day, actually. I just happened to be attending that game when his high school and amateur career ended right there. At the end of the 1st period, he actually walked past me with a big bag of ice when I saw the hit in the corner, and it wasn't anywhere near as this hit he just took there. But when players have those injuries before, it takes a while for the human body to be able to absorb some of that air to heal. But it was kind of dangerous to see not only the way when he absorbed that hit, but the way he flew in the air and landed hard on one of those shoulders. I mean, he was sitting on the bench for a long time with his head down. So those impact hits can also cause concussions. And some players, they'll feel all right a few minutes later, but they just get back into the game, but the effects can take place a little bit later. But good to see that he is back because he has been a valuable addition to this team. He's providing depth. He's been mostly a second-line center since he's been here. He's allowing some other players to move slightly down into the 3rd and 4th line and do some damage, and that's what made Slippery Rock pretty dangerous. I was a little bit surprised by their streak late in the year. They were actually on a 7-game winning streak when they had 4 league games left, and it started with a 4-3 loss to IUP up in Indiana with 0.6 seconds left in overtime on a long shot goal, which was the first goal of the year for Ruddy, who had no goals as a defenseman. And it just seemed to start some bad juju for Slippery Rock. They had 3 games in 3 days last week and went to John Carroll, which had given them a good game back in October and showed that they were very, tenacious competitor, that they weren't going to get walked over. But their season started to dovetail into some wild game of Slippery Rock blew a 7-6 lead in the 3rd period until the absolute beating they took by Pitt last Friday night. But they seemed to have legs after playing 2 games in 2 nights, and it was the 3rd game in 3 nights, and still be able to play 9 periods that quick, which I even mentioned to Jeff last Saturday night on that broadcast, saying, well, this is a good practice for what stands to come. If you're going to win this league, you're going to have to win 3 in about 48 hours. So far, so good.
Yeah, definitely a good start to this for Slippery Rock, and other teams are going to take notice. This is an offense that needs to be feared, and but I think most teams knew the offense needed to be feared. I think what's surprising is they've got a defense that needs to be feared. They've been blocking shots, they've been swarming John Carroll, because John Carroll has a high-powered offense, and it has been rendered just about useless in this game.
Well, another thing, too, is a valuable member of this team who's sort of unheralded, Robert Swindelman, who paired up with Siebert most of the year. He went down a couple games ago with a shoulder injury, and I thought it was in the IUP game. I thought this guy kind of just works his magic, but it's behind the scenes, and he doesn't get a whole lot of credit, doesn't score a lot of points, but he makes that a good defensive pair, and without him, they had to play Nate Mettenberg a couple of games on defense, and he's a good forward. He was able to play defense. I mean, he's a senior this year. He's, he knows the game well enough to go back, but it's like starting a running back 10 yards in the backfield all the time, and they did switch him back up to forward against Pitt last week, which was a smart move, But it did test their depth a little bit, because Shane Lowry also logs a heck of a lot of minutes in the game, and it meant more minutes for Siebert and Sean Pat. Siebert played a lot of minutes this year. Sean Pat didn't play as much as the other two, so it did stress them out a little bit. But so far, the 3-2 win against Pitt in this game so far, they seem to have adjusted. And their forwards are being much more responsible this game. They're back in the zone. They always have at least 3 guys back. They gave up a couple odd man breaks tonight, but nothing too bad. And they're really paying attention to making sure their bodies are in the shooting lanes and sticks in the passing lanes. Good sound defense from inside out.
Yeah, the only real knock you can have on Slippery Rock's game right now is the fact that they've given John Carroll 3 power plays, but John Carroll has 1 shot in 3 power plays, so maybe they're playing just as good short-handed as they are at even strength, so it might not be a big deal if you're taking penalties.
Well, Slippery Rock does take penalties. I mean, they're not a ridiculous penalty team, but generally in most games they have to kill off 4, 5, or 6 penalties on the average for them. They have some penalty minutes piled up this year, but their penalty killing was clicking at 19.7%, which is, their power play was at slightly over 20, and their penalty killing was over 81%. So, the old adage is when you combine your power play percentage and your penalty killing percentage, it's supposed to add up to about 105. And it was always in that range all year, and sometimes it was even above that, which made them dangerous special teams. But they don't seem to be having too much of it. But this game has a lot of stretches when there's absolutely no whistles, and that's been good for Slippery Rock, I think. There's a lot of flow to this game, and the ice seems a bit faster tonight than it usually is, so guys are really being able to make long passes, tape-to-tape passes, and for the first game, we'll see, like, as we get to Sunday, the 2 survivors, after a few big hits and playing that many minutes from the top players, what kind of energy they have left. It's sort of unfair when you got to play like 3 days in a row, or less than 3 days, because this game starts at 9:20, so it won't even be like 40 hours between 3 games for those survivors. So that'll be a test of the depth on the bench, but Coach Dave Grimm has coached that way all year. He's been fearless in moving guys, not being afraid to use those guys, 3rd and 4th line and 5th and 6th D.
And luckily, as you get deeper into this tournament and you get into your semifinals and your championship games, you start running off pure adrenaline, which can work just as well as stamina sometimes.
Oh yeah, you start to forget how tired you are. I mean, sometimes even in these games, I'm used to coaching high school and that, or where some of the amateurs they don't even do the ice for 3 periods. The ice gets pretty sluggish and all that, and you just try to forget how tired you are when players have to log a few extra minutes. You got guys out of the lineup, you got guys in penalty trouble that you're not giving as much ice to. All those things that manufacture into how you have to shorten your bench. I always tell the guys, just say, you got to suck it up. You can be tired tomorrow. So it has been an exciting contest, and for anybody that stayed for both games, they're definitely getting their money's worth. So this is what this local college hockey league's all about. I've watched it for a long time, and this year I had a chance, the privilege to be part of the broadcast team with Jeff Morrow at Slippery Rock. And, you know, I always try to promote local college. These are all fine universities. There's 8 universities that are involved in this league. They've had teams for a long time. And this is a very good brand of hockey. Well, we realize it's D1 club and everything, but, you know, just to get into those universities, maintain grades, and to still try to play and get these bad practice times at 10:30 at night, you know, and not always enough recognition. You know, this cannot compete with college football or college basketball, which are billion-dollar industries basically. You know, but shame on the people that don't come out once in a while. And if you have a young son or daughter playing, you know, eventually they will graduate high school someday, and they may want to still be able to play for a couple more years. They should check this out. I really try to promote it among the leagues that I coach.
Yeah, I always call West Virginia hockey West Virginia University's best kept secret. All anyone cares about is Mountaineer football and Mountaineer basketball, but there's a really cool organization just a few miles down the road, just outside of the university.
Right, and these are college athletes. I mean, you know, it's just that the money's not there to promote that kind of stuff, but, you know, this area in the Mid-Am District in USA Hockey, in Western Pennsylvania, and Western Ohio and West Virginia itself, there's an awful lot of hockey teams and some fine hockey being played, and this area has finally produced over the last 20 years some NHL players, you know, but there's a great opportunity to play here and do what you really meant to do, is to further your education and still be able to play for 4 more years the game that you've played since you were a little boy, and there's no reason that it shouldn't be supported as well. Because these guys are or should be on equal footing, you know, with their brethren who play for big-time college athletics in baseball, football, soccer, lacrosse, and basketball. Well, Jeff is back. Did you get on and give the coaches on either team some coaching tips? Maybe they can give us some coaching tips, because they've both done a great job this year. My hat's off to the 2 previous teams. Tomorrow afternoon we'll have 2 games almost simultaneously, so we won't be able to do both at once. Be ready for the start of the 3rd period. The ice is resurfaced, the teams are back on the ice, and we'll see if the players will be able to employ the strategy of ensuring that the coaching staff imparted to them at the 15-minute break. Lakewood's lost in overtime. Connor Shear.
Both teams are going to start their top lines here. 20 minutes of hockey, and up with it is Riley. Riley has the puck. That's zero. Now gets over the line. And Murray's going to hold on. I'm behind that bar, got it. He chips it up off the boards and comes out of the zone, and Riley's going to be safe. Riley up with it here. Riley takes the puck out of the zone, and he just flips it away to the ice. I think they're going to have ice. A little bit of the ill-advised ice in there. This is maybe a little bit of play. Henry's going to set out the trailer.
Their bench is a little bit upset because Esposito and Bo they kind of battling inside the blue line, no call.
Okay, so here's Riley up with it. Off the board. Offline by trailer. This is Riley. Riley around the board for the team. Can up with it. They get it out of the zone. Looking for the puck, and he's going to take off. wise to hold on to that one.
Yeah, very smart to just jump on top of that, not allow an opportunity from what could have been there.
You guys had a good chance for a nice visit there in between periods. I'm sure we talked about everything. The Wells are going to go to work. Wells is going to get the puck down behind the net. But the quick is on. Where is it? Oh, that was blocked by Nick Reichman. Great block by Reichman. I don't know whether he inadvertently blocked it, but he did.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that puck was labeled for a corner.
Here's Portillo. Portillo leaves it there for Wells. Wells going over to Portillo. It's not to the net. And Belange's going to hold on.
When he winds up in the net.
Hopefully Fuller has a prevail.
This period has started off all John Carroll. This is the push that we talked about in between periods in the Pitt game earlier. That early push when you're losing going into the third, that first 5 minutes is nothing but pressure. If you can withstand it, you can usually hold on to win the game. Robert Morris withstood it. Now we got to see if Slippery Rock can. If John Carroll can score one within these first 5 minutes, they're going to have a whole lot of momentum.
Yeah, it's corner after. It's going to. Yeah, he's not too happy. Just don't take an extra one.
John Carroll to get back to this game. We've seen that all season.
Great penalty killer.
Slippery Rock penalty assessed to number 19, Connor Acker. 2 minutes for Olympic. Time of the penalty, 2 minutes and 2 seconds. Ackerman, 2 for Olympic at 2:02.
They got Portillo in front of that net. A little different strategy here for Stanley. Over to Russell. Russell has it. Over to Rossbach. Back. Trying to get in front. Portillo trying to get his stick on that. And who's going to knock him out of it? Shot to the net. That's by Russell. Russell to Rossbach. Rossbach over to Russell. Roasted. Over to McMahon. On to Kruger. Kruger has it. Blocked by Kruger has it again. In front. Portillo couldn't find it. Rossbach's going to get there first, but Crowley gets it.
You've got to go with one-timers if you're going to avoid these shots getting blocked. They're waiting too long, and they're letting Slippery Rock park themselves in the shooting lanes. Nothing's getting through.
It is Gilbert. Long to Mills and around the board to Compton. Russell's not going to be able to get out of 29 in the penalty. 16-23 we're running in the third period. 3-2 Slippery Rock. Because it is Gilbert. Gilbert up on the center right. He's going to walk down. And he's going to turn in his own end. Or in the Slippery Rock end. Russell had the puck. Taken there by Atkinson, but kept in by Woodward. Down behind the net to Wells. Wells has it. Wells gives it to Mills. Russell shot to the net. Russell with the ball. It's 4-3. And it's 4-3.
Very smart. A couple guys got their back turned to the net. Russell stuck them through on the right pitch. Others just got their very spot. Ackerman was trying to get back into the play. That's 4-4. We have 15 minutes and 56 seconds left. The Wild is really on.
There's the one-timer to the Dodgers.
Yep, a one-timer with a screen sitting right out in front. Never saw it coming. Puck just slipped right through and he didn't even react.
Now all of a sudden we got a 4-3 hockey game. Here's McCann up with it. Up to Dimmick. Line pass.
Tom Carroll, his ninth of the season, scored by number 17, Brian Russell. Assisted by number 22, Brady Wells. and number 9, Carroll, an even strength score at 404. Russell's 9th of the season. From Wells and Mills, an even strength score at 404.
That shot came screaming in on frame. Even after the deflection, he had a lot of power to it, but not on frame. And frankly, if you're the John Carroll netminder, you're thankful that wasn't on frame.
Yes, Mazzino had the stick just turned a little bit too much and deflected it into the netting. He won't make that mistake a second time.
Go off with it. They try to pass it to Kruger. Here he comes. Kruger hit over the line. Moves it over the lost block. Taking it to the boards by Riley, and around the boards it comes. Morrow up with it. He has a puck over the field. He's fast. Nothing falls. Get over the line. There's Morrow down behind the net. Gives it over to Kenneth. That's the last block. He gets to Kruger. Here he comes. Gets away. And here's lost block up with it. Lost block. Here's being scored here by Morrow, but she's down and nothing called. There's Riley, something to net. Oh, the big play. There's a big German center right. Nobody was looking to play.
I can't believe a penalty didn't come out of that.
Here's Gilbert.
Yeah, they were pretty liberal with that.
After this case, Gilbert's going to get there first. He gets it up over the center right. Let's see the play in a second. He drives it into the John Carroll zone. 4-3 hockey game here, 14-04. Coming off the ice one time. This is the CHMA playoff. Here's Wells over the center. Wells over the line. Picks up, nothing's wrong. Shot to the net, and Delange's going to hold on. There's a lot of extracurricular activity right now going on.
Until I heard that whistle there for the puck getting closed, I thought the ref had just accidentally left it in the locker room. You know, maybe that's why we weren't hearing any calls, but it appears as though he has it on and just keeping it in his pocket for right now.
Well, there's some history with Clark and Physicality, so that's important.
The one thing you don't want to do in a case of either team in a one-goal game is put your team in penalty trouble here. You have to be a little smarter. Forget the extracurricular stuff. Play the game.
To the point, Gilbert has it. Winds up and takes a shot. It's blocked down in front. After leaving Reichman and off the boards up the Miller. Miller gets the puck over to Gillian. Gillian and over the line. Gillian has it. Up there by Gilbert. Gilbert just using the stick all over here. That's a call.
Semi-final action tomorrow. The winner of this game starts off against Ukraine at 2:20. This tournament schedule available at collegehockeyofamerica.com.
The Slippery Rock fans there right on the glass where that scrum was taking place, definitely egging things on a little bit.
Patrick Gilbert was holding Gillian for quite a long time. The play had already shifted over to the left side, and then James Grable jumps in third man in. But I could see don't want to decide the game in a one-goal game from the referee standpoint, but you just can't be so obtuse and not call anything because it's obvious towards the end of that second period, now already in the third, that these guys are taking a few liberties with each other, which I just mentioned before you don't want to do. As a coaching staff, you say, hey, let's cut this stuff out. Let's not worry about some of the things that are happening to us. We're on top. We got to play the game. And the team that's behind can have 4-2. Now, we have 3 guys in the box, 2 for John Carroll. So obviously, I don't believe that these will be a wash unless they're going to give Trevor Gillian 2 minors, and then it would be a wash. We'll have to catch the announcer. These penalties all are at 6:37.
Super King, we got
discussion was whether or not it was going to be 5-on-4 or 4-on-3 maybe. And we're going to have 2 offsetting and then a separate penalty to John Carroll. And so we'll have 5-on-4 hockey here.
John Carroll penalty, number 3, James Dable, 2 minutes for roughing. Number 4, Patrick Everett, 2 minutes for roughing. Slippery rock penalty, number 24, Trevor Boland, 2 minutes for roughing, all at 6:37. Grable and Gilbert for John Carroll, 2 minutes each for roughing. Boland for Slippery rock, 2 for roughing, all at 6:37.
Well, it's actually in the bench.
Remaining in the penalty.
Yeah, John Carroll's taken over so far in this third period. If they kill this off, watch out for them to have a whole lot of momentum coming out back to even strength.
Over the line. He's started there by Buffalo. Taken by Clay. That has it. Set up there for Riley. Riley has it. There's a shooter shot. It's the ball man and it's out of his zone.
I hit Tom Rifle and he was hurt.
Well, he's shaking up. I don't know if he's hurt.
Not hurt seriously.
But it is Brett. Brett is over the line. On the board becomes the Brett. After the next inning. Center for Riley. This is the receiver. Receiver turns. There's the game. Move it up to Brett. Here he comes. Portillo gets it up. Here's Wells. Over to Portillo. Portillo has the puck in front of Wells. Oh, a great defensive play there by Kevin Brett. Behind the net.
Back to even strength.
Back to even strength. Wells up with it. And it comes around the boards. Good defensive play by Goodman. There's the snap. Here's Portillo off of it. Off the boards, and then you're starting to go. Around the boards to Sean Pat. Pat up with it. He puts it around and brings it around the boards to Jimmick. Jimmick up off the boards and around his own. Portillo. He gets the puck down behind the net. 10:32 remaining here in the third period. This game is slowed down a little bit, Quinn.
Yeah, and also taking into account that stoppage allows both men who had the offsetting minors there to get out of the box, so both teams have their benches full once again. Yeah, game's definitely slowing down. I mean, this game started off at a very fast pace, and you have to wonder if just players' stamina couldn't hold out for the full 60 minutes.
Gilbert has the puck. Pretty rock hasn't had many shots in the last.
They have one this period.
Only one in the period so far. Russell has it. He's going to skate it. Here comes Russell up over the center ice. Moves it back to Rothbard. Kruger trying to get the puck, but it's going to take taken away by Michalowski. Michalowski along with Barnes going to get more first. Barnes has it. That was an interesting play right there.
I saw Wayne Gretzky do that once.
If that had worked out, it might have been the first time we've ever seen club hockey on the Sports Center top 10.
Yeah.
good job behind the net. That's where it has it. Take a shot to the net. Oh, just went wide.
Hey, there's 9 minutes.
Up over some ice. And he checks out of the play by the Slippery Rock defense. This was going to keep it in. To the ice by Wilson. We're going to have a hand.
If John Carroll comes back to win this game, remember that save from Kari. That is right now what is keeping them in this game. If they come back, send it to overtime, or come back to win this game, that is the save that will have allowed them to do it.
Here's 10. On half. Taken by Frederick. Frederick just goes to the big zone. Up with it is Reitman. On the board with Frederick intercept. John Carroll has a territorial overside advantage in this game right now. Here's Clipper with it. Top of the net. A good save by Boulanger. He got his leg pad up. Montello has it. Takes a shot. That's been wide. All John Carroll right now. Slippery Rock needs to get the puck out of their end. Taken there by Frederick. Here's Grable. Grable has it. And it's stolen, but stepping by Montillo. Shot to the net. Another good save by Boulanger. Here's Frederick with it. Frederick down behind the net. Leaves it off for Whooper. Whooper with it. He's ridden to the boards by Gillan. They still can't get it out. And they finally do. Here's Montillo. Over to Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh just didn't get into the zone.
He got to the puck first. It is a clean defensive play.
This guy's getting dragged down all over the place, and nothing falls. He just steps it into the zone. And it's taken there by Riley. Riley up with it. Taken there by Morrow. Killer gets it. He puts it up over center ice.
Yeah, there's been some interesting decisions so far in this third period, and tell you right now, if you're a Batman fan, the Joker would be loving this period because it has been chaos.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on behind the play. I mean, what a privilege to see this. I mean, it's amazing. I was watching Coach Dave Grimm. He is definitely the eye in the storm. He didn't even blink.
Down behind the net, and Riley going to pick the ball. Moves it up to Morrow. Morrow kicks it out of his own. Back to Gilbert. Gilbert with it. Leaves it up there, and here comes Wells up over center right. Wells is going to dump it into the zone, and Riley's going to give chase. Wells will get the puck. Up with it is back to the point. It's Gilbert. Gilbert over to outside. Over center right. He's got a 3-0 speed.
Well, he hit the net, just the wrong net. That one doesn't lead to points.
No. Leads to a face-off.
And when he got up to a full head of steam, he was flying by everybody. If he had started up at that pace back at the other blue line, that is a breakaway far and away. He might be the fastest player on the ice every time he takes it.
Grossman need to take the face off. Got to the net. Made the play. Got the drama ball. Kruger kicks the puck off the board and he gets it. Right wide to Rosbach. There's going to be no icing. There's Rosbach with it. On his knees. Back to Portillo. Portillo has it. Waited too long. Shot cut block. McMahon with it. Behind the net to Kruger. Kruger has it. To Russell. Russell with it. Shot block. Here's McMahon. Should have shot on that one. Rosbach. All John Carroll right now. And it's stolen by Grossman. And he throws it the leg to the ice.
I don't think there is icing anymore in this game. I'm trying to figure out what it is and what it isn't.
Here's Russell up with it. Up with his range. Here's wide pass to Rosbach, and it's up into the stand. 6:07 remaining here in the third period. 4-3 Slippery Rock.
You said earlier, I can't remember who it was that had it in the slot. You said he should have shot the puck.
McMahon.
Yeah, McMahon in the slot should have shot the puck, but his first thought was, if I shoot this from the slot, it's just going to get blocked, so he decided to try and pass it off instead. Slippery rock is in the heads of these John Carroll forwards, and it's working in their favor right now.
Yeah, because they're trying to make the perfect play when they don't necessarily have to, as witnessed by their third goal. That definitely wasn't the perfect play. It just went in.
Into the neutral zone. Sean Pat up with it. Up over the center ice he comes. Pat it over the line. Takes a shot. Corey has it. Pat has it. To the net. Corey makes the save. Russell up with it. Moves it Rick Klein over to Kuzma. Kuzma long lead pass. Get over the line. Good play by Wilbur. As they're going to have a face-off here. I guess they lost sight of the puck there.
Yeah, that puck didn't hit the netting. It came down on the glass.
I think it was a mirage.
That was actually a really nice play by Trevor Gillian. He was actually back covering on defense, but facing the wrong way, but then, was able to get a stick on that and deflect it. So that was a good, smart play by Gillian. Now they're debating where to put the puck.
Yeah, there's a lot of very confused people on the benches and a lot of confused people in the stands, and honestly, some confused people in the broadcast booth as well.
I'm confused. Gillian up off the boards and out of the zone. Well, over to Clinton. And over the line, it's Wells. Wells holds it, takes a shot. It's a save by Boulanger. Up off the boards and out of the zone, but Wells gets it over to Russell. Russell takes a shot. A good save by Boulanger. Taken over by Gillian, and here he comes.
3-on-2 developing.
There's Ackerman, jumping out. All you have to do is hit the net on that one. I think he went on a goal. Beaver keeps the puck in the zone. Looks like it's by Goodrop. Goodrop with it. Goodrop over the center ice. Shot to the net, and it goes wide. Esposito clears the zone. Back to Wells it comes. Up with it is Michalowski. Michalowski around the boards to Kimmich. Up off the boards. Taken there by Esposito, but he can't get it out. We're going to have a whistle here. 4:20 remaining here in the third period for the Alpha Ice Complex. Jeff Farrow, along with Ron Sneedle. And the whole gang here. This has been a long night. What do you think, Clint?
Oh, I mean, this game right now, it's all John Carroll in this third period, but Boulanger is sitting his head. He needs to hold on for another 4 minutes and 20 seconds so they can get on to round 2 and play Duquesne tomorrow.
Let's give it up with it. Around the board. How are you going to get it? Rally up off the boards. You can't get it out. Gilbert's got it. Gilbert puts the puck down behind the net. And the Rossbach. Rossbach up here. He puts his feet through. Back to Gilbert. Shot. And it's tipped. Russell had a chance on that one.
Off a one-timer.
Man. There's still a couple of and we're going to have an offside call.
Yeah, if you're on John Carroll's bench right now, if you're on that coaching staff, you've got to be preaching one-timers. You scored off a one-timer earlier in this period. That was another good chance there off a one-timer. It's point shots, first-time shots with a man screening the net, screening Boulanger, and that is the key right now to getting a goal.
There's Gilbert with it. Takes a long shot. Boulanger sticks that aside. Up it is Riley. Over to McCann. Up to Morrow. Morrow has it. Can't make the play. He gets the play out of the zone. Gilbert up with it. Over the first goal. Gilbert seems to be standing still right now. Wells in there to get the puck. And the play comes up. It's taken there by Phil. Got to the net by Portillo. Gets it up tomorrow. Here he comes. Hit by Portillo. No, it by Foster. Riley's going to get the puck to the zone. On the board to Physicality. Up to Mettenberg. Gets in by Kuzma. Good play by Kuzma. Kuzma's going to keep the puck in again. Excellent play by Kuzma. Here's Sweat. He's just going to get it out of his hand. He's going to keep got Carroll. There's all the showtime right now. Up down there. Here's Wilbur, shot to the net.
Oh, Physicality, nice play.
And Mettenberg's going to come out of there with that puck. Mettenberg up over the center. He just dumps it away. We're getting down to 2-19. Oh, it's a pass. Back to the plate. No icing. Wilbur gives chase. Physicality on the board. That's in there by Grable. We're on the board for Physicality. Gravel's going to get there. Good play by Luke Grossman. But a better play by Grable because he keeps the puck alive. Here's Wolfer with it. Up there by Grossman with it. Down behind the net. Johnny Seagus with it.
John Carroll's netminder at the hash marks.
130 down to go. Grable. Gets the puck. He uses his edge. Take it over by Miller. Here's Patrick. Patrick has the puck. Patrick holds on to it. Center point to Gillian. After the plate, Physicality shot. After it was Ackerman. Ackerman just goes straight out. Into the zone it goes.
Yeah, just ragged that puck a little bit. It never hurts to take the time.
You get a fresh line change there with smart play. Take another 15 seconds.
Remaining in the period, 1 minute.
That's empty.
That's empty. Here's Rothbach up over the center right. Here he comes. Dumps it away into the corner. McCann going to get back to the board. Riley with it. Around the board to come. He's going to carry it away from the ice. And ice is called. 34 seconds remaining here in the third period. This has been
all it has, but Slippery Rock, mainly through the play of Bellagio, has held on, and they just have 34 ticks left. But I can tell you right now, those 34 seconds for everyone here wearing a Slippery Rock jersey, everyone on that ice, and the coaching staff for Slippery Rock, those 34 seconds are going to feel like an eternity.
Well, the shots are 9-3 in favor of John Carroll this period, but they've launched about 18 or 20. So they've done great jobs of being in position to block. A couple of nice smart plays. You just saw that last sequence behind the net trying to carry it out of there. Just chip it out of danger. You'll get it out of that crease area so Belanger can be set up for any shots that come from any distance. But the key here will be unnecessary icings. We'll gain control right off these face-offs. Don't be worried about trying to hit the empty net, get across center red, and avoid that icing. That's where they can set up a play, obviously, off of face-offs.
Slippery Rock coverage is available at Blackline Hockey. That's BTEHockey.com.
Slippery Rock holds on to win this game. With this being the final score, that'll be back-to-back games with a 4-3 final. Maybe a sign of things to come here.
Yeah, these games are going to be close. So we got Bill, Rostock, Montilla, McMahon, Cooper, all the top guys right here. Carroll, right out the Slippery Rock. One-on-one over here. How they do that one off, I'll never know. There's more off of it. He just clears it up into the zone.
It's going to die.
Rostock up there. Sorry, Montilla. Montilla up over center ice. He dumps it away into the zone. And it's all on there by Kevin Belanger.
Luke Grossman has taken a number of draws here.
I don't know how he stuck him on the ice because Esposito was the man of record.
Yeah, that was a pretty good move to get him off. Grossman's won a lot of draws today.
Well,
we have seen it. That's a good sneaky move.
Here's Kimmick up with it. Walk by Kimmick. Trying to get it away. Here's one Joe. Joe trying to get the puck in the zone. Washball with the puck. Goes to the net. And McMahon shoots it and blocked by Tommy Kimmick.
How appropriate was it? The last shot of the game from John Carroll was blocked.
Tommy Kimmick. We're going to have playoff game and also IUP versus Robert Morris.
We should be in store for some great games tomorrow. I'm very excited.
I want to remind everybody we're going to have the interview with the Duke team. We're trying to have something on for noon. And we're going to be spending a lot of time about the one that rock and roll tomorrow. It was a terrific night here at the Alpha Ice Complex. 2 great hockey games and 4 great hockey teams. And you're seeing the best of the CHMA and the ACHA here on Black Dog Hockey and the West Virginia YouTube channel. We want to thank everybody for one thing we forgot, the 3 stars. I'm going to give you the headset, and you can take care of that.
Only 1 goal scored in the third period. Tonight's 3 stars. By this esteemed staff. And a 3-star goal and assist for John Carroll, number 17, Brian Russell. Number 2-star of the game, the Slippery Rock, with 2 assists in the game, number 18, Jamie Morrow. And number 1 star of the game, well, number 16, Slippery Rock, 2 goals, an assist, and a blocked shot at the end is the captain, the Congressman, Tom Kimmick.
We're going to put a wrap on this one tonight. From what you saw, we got some good matchups tomorrow. Robert Morris against IUP. What do you think?
I think a lot of people are already counting out Robert Morris in that game, and that's a mistake. They played a great game of hockey today, and I wouldn't be surprised if they come out and continue the Cinderella story and upset the number 1 seed tomorrow right here.
Slippery Rock and Duke. We've seen both of those teams play.
Yeah, if Slippery Rock can keep putting shots on frame and play the swarming defense they did tonight, I wouldn't be surprised if the 1st and 2nd seed are both 1 and done tomorrow.
Wow. There you have it. So we're going to sign off tonight. Quinn, thank you for your work. Cody, great job tonight. And my man over here from the Black Dog Hockey Network, we did a great job again. And we're going to be back here tomorrow at 12 noon for the interviews for the Black Dogs. We're going to be doing tape delayed from the Europe Arena, and we'll have all that for you tomorrow, starting at around 4:02. So, Jeff, Ron, Quinn, Cody, we're going to sign off, and we want to thank everybody for this taking us tonight. And we're watching the CHMA and ACHA hockey here from Alpha Ice Complex. Drive safely, everyone.